So now that we are into the last item in week 2, it's an important one. I mean, they all are okay, to be quite honest, but this one because it's building upon what we did last week, which was doing the research by writing AI prompts. And I get that we really just kind of threw you in with minimal prompting experience, and part of that is that I think using ChatGPT or Bard or whatever other software you might be interested in out there. But those are the two most common ones. You kind of just learn as we all kind of learn how to do better searches. You just kind of learn about how to do prompting. So at this point, now we're going to take what you've done last week and you're going to create a short presentation. By short, I mean 2 to 3 minutes. And I actually think that's really harder because when you have more time, sometimes when you have less time, you feel restricted and you're just trying to get your thoughts out. So the key I want you to think about is really you're just kind of talking to somebody about this concept. And here's a key statement I have, which is you want this conversational. And I know I had you write that script last week. And really, I did that. And if you use chat to help you with that, to help you organize your thoughts, because when you can have conversational style presentation, people are A, more likely to listen, by the way, and B, it shows a certain amount of command of the material. So it's not that you have to cover a lot of material, you just have to have a what I'm looking for is, are you conversational in that? Because, yeah, we can use AI to do all kinds of research, obviously. But the key is you want to be able to present that, talk about that in a way that helps somebody, because trust me, there are people in this class with a varying level of experience. Some have more, some have less. So what you're really doing is just saying, this is what I understand about my selected topic. At this point, I haven't seen the topics you've selected because I'm recording ahead of time, but I will be interested to see what you select. Okay, so using presentation software, now I say PowerPoint or Google Slides, but there's others out there you can use. I'm just giving you two of the most common. By the way, PowerPoint has a really nice feature that I'll show you that exports to MP4, the audio. So the key to this is that you don't need to have yourself on the presentation, but you do need to have your audio. And that should have been clear down here when I talked about conversation, but if it wasn't, I just want to be clear now that that's what you need. You need 2 slides minimum for the information and 1 slide that's an intro with your name and your topic. So what that means is a minimum of 3 slides. Again, 2 to 3 minutes. You could, if you wanted an additional one, you could do that. And then text and images on each slide. And again, remember when you're doing slides, you really want minimum information, but images that help convey what you're talking about. So try not to lean too much into a lot of content, but just to help you organize it. Okay, so this week you're only sharing this video with me, okay? You're not sharing it with the class. We'll actually do that next week. And that what I want you to do is once you create the video is upload it to whichever cloud service you want and submit a URL. And in that case, the URL needs to, again, be shareable by anyone. And the reason I say that this week is it allows me to help you make sure that's ready for you to share for next week. Now, the sooner in the week you submit, the more time you'll have to get my feedback. And yes, there has been an occasion where I've had a student re-record or need to re-record based on the audio quality or something else. So, the sooner you submit, the better. And again, this is the last thing, so there's a short time transition from you submitting it to me to when you actually have to share it in week 3. Okay, now, having said that, let me go over to PowerPoint, and I just have a quick PowerPoint set up. In PowerPoint, there's this nice little feature that you can insert here. You can insert audio, which is kind of nice right here. So you insert and you can record audio, and then you get this nice little interface that you can just hit record, and then what happens is you get these icons on each slide. So what that allows you to do is actually just record, make your intro here, some content here, and then of course another slide that would be more content. So um, that's kind of nice. So it ends up being a separate audio file for all, so a separate audio file for each slide, which is fine. It kind of helps you, again, it might not feel like you have to do the whole thing. You can do one and then practice. So I think PowerPoint works the best for this. I was looking at Google Slides today, and I was like, okay, insert audio. Oh yeah, that's right. They make you go ahead and you could do this. You could find somewhere else to record. There's definitely places you could do that out on the web or on your phones or whatever, right? But I was a little surprised by now Google hadn't actually allowed you to right inside the presentation record it, but maybe there's a way and I don't see it. Now that's just again the most common, but also if you want to go out there and look, best screen recording online, so you could actually find online software for this as well. I use Screencastify. I actually use a product on the Mac that's free for awesome recording as well. It's actually called Awesome, I think, Awesome Screen Recordings. But I just did a quick link search here. So if you want to check out any of these other ones, OBS is a bit more set up than most people are ready to do. You can look at this. I'll just provide the link, but or if you actually you could just search free screen recording online free. Okay. Remember, whenever we hear free, we do have to be a bit suspect, especially as security professionals, that we're vetting what it is we're using. That's why generally for this presentation, I say stick with what we know works well. Okay, so but let me go back to now that I have, at least in PowerPoint, right? So once I have this all set up and I'm ready to share it, what I would do is file, okay? I'm in my I file, and then I would just export right here. So when I export this, right, I could say week, and actually do like week 2, and actually it's good to give it a name here, week 2. Do presentation, okay, and it's going to save it in Docs. Now Windows interface might look a little different, but the same. I know they provide the same thing. I looked at it earlier. But what you want to do here is you can either export an MP4, which is a very common video encoding format, or MOV. Okay, and when I do that, I see, okay, here we go. It's going to be in Docs, and then I would just export it. And when I do that, it takes a moment for it to export. Now, by the way, my resolution on my screen is higher. One thing you can do to decrease the file size, which is not a bad idea at all, is actually decrease your resolution. So what happens is on anything you're going to use, and I'll just go and pull over my Finder, which is the equivalent of File Manager. And now what I can do is upload this into whatever provider. Again, this is why in week 1 I set up and did a bit of conversation about setting up folders, how to share. So go back and review that if you need help. But this would be the file that you would then upload to whatever cloud provider and provide to me when you're ready. Come back here. But how you submit this is a URL. Okay, so what you're doing is you're setting up the slideshow, right? You're making sure you have my requirements. You're recording your voice, right? You keep it in as best you can in the length here, and then you share it with me. I'll give you my feedback. Next week, you'll share it with the class. Again, conversational. That's what I want as much as possible. The more conversational this is, the better. I do have a certain amount of, like when I'm reviewing this, that's what I'm looking for. Share with me the URL, and again, timing is important here. And this, and I know this you might look at this and go, have fun? This is not fun. It could be not fun, for sure. But honestly, I think there's just so much that we can learn from each other and put some effort into this and have, make it something you're proud of, as I would say. And try not to, and this is what I would leave you with, try not to judge yourself, because we all started somewhere. Trust me, the first time I heard myself in a recording, it was hard. But the more I did it, the better I got at it. All right, so again, submit your URL. Make sure you've shared it correctly like you did last week with your intro videos. Make sure you have it shareable by anyone with the link, and then we'll be good to go. All right, talk to you later.